WGSN-DB Going Solo Network welcomes you to award-nominated relationship internet radio talk show, Going Solo with Cece. Host Cece Schatz is a speaker, author, blogger, and the leading transitional divorce and dating coach with My Friends Connect and Going Solo Next Step. Now, together, let's join Cece.
This is Cece with Going Solo with Cece, and you're also listening to WGSN-DB Going Solo Network. And today we have with us Valentina Lomborg, and she is from the Tampa Bay area. She's an awakened spiritual life coach, and this is very unique because she does something that I feel personally is quite astounding. So welcome to the show, Valentina.
Thank you so much. Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's very nice having you. And I know that if we want to shorten it, we could say that you're a psychic. And I know that people sometimes, they step back from that. But I feel personally that we have to embrace our gifts. Yes. And I think that's what you've actually done. So tell us how you've gotten into doing what you're doing.
Okay. Well, it's been quite a journey because got this gift. Well, everyone is psychic, but, it's a matter of if people choose to give into it and work on mastering it. So I got the gift, or it pretty much kicked in. I was 23, that was just 27 years ago, and I had a traumatic brain injury, which I almost was slipping into a coma and dying. It was that crucial and serious. And when I finally left hospital and I'd contracted meningitis, and long story short, pretty much damage to the frontal lobe, damage to the hypothalamus. A lot of the brain was shooken up, unfortunately, and infected. I started realizing that I could just sense, stuff would just happen, and I would predict things. I would sense death, I would predict when people were going to die. Everything got I could hear little wires in the wall. Everything became very acute and sensitive. And so for years and years, I just kept a book of all these things, and I just sort of wrote it off as coincidence. I didn't really, back then people weren't really talking about psychic or anything, so I just thought I just didn't know things, but I knew something was off, but I couldn't quite figure out what. And from there, finally, I didn't give into it for nearly 27 years, and then with the emergence of all the paranormal shows, 5 years ago, I started a paranormal team and spent a lot of time in haunted locations, and I got really good at talking to the dead. From there, so not this past December, but December of 2014, I decided, okay, I'm going to give into this. I'm going to help people with my gifts. So I started helping people. And then February 2015, unexpectedly, my father passed out of the blue. And 2 weeks later, my mother passed. And from there, I was incredibly lost because that was my entire family just gone in 2 weeks. And that's when I decided to move from LA. I packed everything up and left and moved over. I just needed to get away from LA. I couldn't handle the memories. So that's when I decided to move over here. And I got so addicted to being up in the universe because that was my opportunity to spend time with my mother and father and talk to them, that I decided I'm just going to dedicate the rest of my life to helping not only other people heal and understand what's going on in the afterlife, but I also do life readings, but I prefer, my specialty is being a medium and being able to contact the dead. And then also the relationship I've built with the universe is so synchronistic that just all day long it's throwing signs at me and sending me jokes. We have quite a remarkable relationship. So, but I work really hard. I'm up there all the time practically. So from there, it's kind of progressed into helping people awaken and become enlightened so we can all be on the same frequency.
That's very interesting. And we actually have a host on the show, Stephanie Carter, who talks with the angels. And she's kind of giving us more information on the angels and what they do and how they can help us and how we can actually talk with them. So I do feel that people are getting more intrigued and they want more knowledge about this. And as we move forward and we get older, we'd like to think that there is an afterlife for us. And so I'm really pleased with what you're doing. And I think maybe it will ease some feelings towards death in itself if we have a better understanding of it.
Exactly.
I think it's cool. But I also think we all have gifts. We all have some sort of gift. you're definitely bringing yours out and helping other people who might feel that I maybe have something. Maybe they would like to come to you and talk to you about it. So tell us, if someone felt like they had maybe a gift or they had something underlying, like they'll get, I know, for instance, my father, he'll get a feeling about something. And so I guess that is an underlying gift in itself, isn't it?
Yes. We were all born with gifts. And the reason being is when we pass, that's how we're going to communicate. So they made us all telepathic. The main reason is for that because obviously when I speak to the dead, which I don't even like to call them the dead because it's like the second living. I mean, they're not really dead at all. The loved ones on the other side, they have no way to speak. I mean, they can manipulate things in this physical world, but the best way is for them to speak telepathically in our heads. So we were all designed to speak that way. We could even do it now, but a lot of people don't tap into that because they don't really, if you don't believe it, that's already half the battle. So I also try to help. Sometimes people come to me and have the gifts and need to know how to pull those out. And there's many different levels. Different psychics have different levels of gifts. It depends. Like, I probably could speak to angels. That's just not my forte or what your other guests that you have on the show. I've taken the gifts that I know that I'm good at, and I've worked to excel and master those. But everyone has different levels of gifts. And the first one would, of course, be what they sort of call intuition, which is that sense of just knowing. You don't know how you know, but you just suddenly know something. Or you suddenly feel you need to call your friend and tell her, don't leave right now, and then something happens on the bridge. So we have that, but a lot of people, unfortunately, there's something called ego, and most people think of ego as something very inflated. Ego can also be something very bad. And if your little bad ego sits and talks to you and goes, oh yeah, you're just losing your mind, you're just talking to yourself, we tend to not listen to that little inner voice, which is really our intuition trying to help us out a little bit. We tend to mostly just credit everything that we think, or maybe we thought we saw something out of the corner of our eye. There's always that little other voice telling us, no, you're going crazy. It's nothing. So that's where, unfortunately, most people's psychic abilities, because their own little voice already smushes it before it gets a chance to be anything.
So what's the next level after the knowing feeling? Is there another level from that? The intuition?
Yeah. So the knowing feeling is a little bit more on the mental side. So from there, you would want to start tapping into feeling and being sensitive to things, which means you almost more, I guess, I would say the empathic level, which having empathy, which means you are feeling things and you're sensitive. That would mean like get around people. I know what they're feeling. A lot of the times I know what they're thinking as well, but I know what they're feeling. So I start feeling whatever other people are feeling. And this is where it gets tricky because I can't watch the news, not so much because I don't really care what's going on in the world, but I feel what's coming through the television. Like I'll start crying for somebody that's in pain on the other side of the screen because I'm so sensitive. I feel everything other people feel, animals, everything I'm connected to. So it becomes very dangerous to go outside if you don't learn how to protect that, because the next thing you're angry out of the blue, you're depressed. I've walked out and felt suicidal after just laughing 5 minutes ago. So if you don't know how to protect yourself properly and you open that avenue up, it can get very dangerous. It could possibly lead to depression or suicide. So the next step of that is feeling things, and that's where it starts really tripping people up. And they either end up not protected. If you protect yourself, you can go outside. However, if you manage to not know how to protect yourself, what will happen is you'll spend a lot of time inside because you can't handle being outside. And I've had clients come and they never leave the house. And I'm like, that's not good. That's an illness. That's not good either.
Absolutely. Now, I know, just to share with you a little bit about me, I have something that where I can feel when someone is hurt or they're in pain or they're going through something. And it used to be, I did a course, and it seemed to have relieved that a great deal. I did a hands-on prayer ministry type of course, and that had helped me to kind of control that a little bit. But I can be in a room and people will come to me and tell me their troubles. And it's like they see me out. They know me. And I know, I mean, I can look at them from across the room and know that they're hurting. There's something going on in their life. I don't know exactly what that is, but I know there's something going on. And next thing you know, they'll come over and start talking to me. And they'll tell me,
yeah.
do divorce recovery. And usually it's about a relationship or something like that. But I have had that. And I also have had where I'll be talking to someone and they'll be sharing something with me. And I know perfectly well there's a lot more deep-rooted problems there. You know,
Yeah.
there's something there. And I don't know if that's anything other than maybe my mind.
It is.
Clicking, because, you know, I guess there's body language, there's eye movement when people are talking, there's various different things like that. Maybe I pick up on that. I don't know what that is. So I was just curious when we were talking about you being on the show, I thought, I'm going to kind of share that with her and see what she might think. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, that is part of being, sometimes people call it sensitive, empathy, sensitive. Those are sort of parallel words. Sensitive is just more being alert of it, but not really doing much. Being empathic, it's more like you've kind of recognized it and you know that you're going to feel things. Yeah, the body language, those things are obviously subtle clues, and most people, if they're paying attention, can catch those. However, if you get a little bit more detailed or, you know, stuff that isn't so much shown. I mean, people cross their arms, yes, they're probably pissed off at something. However, if you're able to go, okay, what was that fight about? Or then now you can see, okay, whoa, I'm getting a little bit more detail and things. And if you're feeling all that, then that is the surface beginning of being empathic. Now, from there, it's very easy to just shut it off and just not. If people don't want the gift, because some people don't, it's a burden, believe me. I am on 24 hours a day helping people. I get information in the shower. I can be sleeping and somebody's pulling my hair because they want to get my attention. It never ends. And if people have a family or kids and stuff, then maybe they should devote their time to that. I'm single. I have a son, but he's in LA. I don't have any other family members or siblings. So I don't mind dedicating 24 hours a day to the living on earth and the living up in the universe. But for a lot of people, you know, they may dabble with it. Like I have a client that turned girlfriend, and she will come to me and she's like, gosh, you know, people come to me, but I've got a regular job and I just do it for fun. She doesn't do it to make money. She just kind of tests it out because she doesn't have enough confidence to do it. So she just does it for fun. And people will just, once people know you do it, people will just flock you. It's like you seem to attract people that just constantly want instant answers and things. And that gets to be a burden. And you carry that home, even though you think, oh, I close the door or I hang up the phone. It's still on you. And then you've got to purge all that energy off of you. And it's like a lifestyle. I live and breathe this. Like I eat specific foods for this. I mean, it's very intense and very serious. So a lot of people probably have more going on in their life that they don't want that. But so it's up to you. I mean, you can do it for fun every now and then, but I always tell people if you have other things to do, probably don't get too involved in the whole psychic thing.
Well, for me, it's kind of an asset because of what I do. I help with divorce recovery, so it is an asset. But I've taken the course that I took with my girlfriend Janet Tatum and do it now myself, prayer healing. It's been a lot easier for me because it would hurt, my chest would hurt. I mean, I would actually feel pain. And I would be exhausted at the end of some of the meetings and things that I would go to. But now I'm not, and I don't feel it quite so much. And so I can tell that there's things happening, but I'm not hurting like I was doing before.
Good.
So
good, yeah.
That's kind of a good thing for me. I guess it can be a bit of a problem for those who don't want to experience the gift or don't want to have the gift to deal with that. So, yeah. I commend you for doing the good deed and trying to help others. And so what is the next step from the feeling? What's the next step?
The 5 senses and the 5 steps. There's clairvoyant, which you see things. Clairaudient, where you hear things. I believe it's called clairolfactory, is where you smell things, which is probably the rarest. Then there's clairsentient, where you feel things. And the rarest one is, I don't know the other Claire right now. I can't think of Elsa, but it's where you taste things. That's actually the rarest. And if you smell things, that's only if something gets manifested that you can actually smell a perfume or tobacco or something like that. So I guess the next thing would be if you're able to be clairvoyant and actually see things, which you would see mainly things in your mind. It's not that you're going to see ghosts or anything. You would learn to tap into seeing things in your mind and doing a lot of it. Probably took me a good 2 months to master seeing things in my mind. So because mind mastery of really removing all your own thoughts and everything else that concerns you to allow only images and things that you need to convey to someone else. So there's a lot of meditation that goes in through my day. I spend all day meditating in between clients, and it requires a lot of focus. It requires a lot of inner peace, and just like I don't drink a lot of caffeine if I can avoid it. There's a lot of things that have to keep your sense of focus so down. I don't stress. I never get angry. A lot of emotions have to be removed out of it. So that would be the next step, is to learn to start focusing and concentrating so that you can receive images in your head that pertain to either a living person or someone on the other side.
You know, they had a show, and since you don't watch TV, you probably maybe haven't heard of it, America's Got Talent. And the second runner-up was the clairvoyant.
My neighbors told me. They tell me everything to do with that.
Yeah,
I know. I'm actually gonna have to find that episode and watch it now. Just wonderful. I get so happy when these things are brought into fruition because it's making more and more people aware. And as probably a couple of years ago, before all the shows, people didn't really believe as much, and now it's become. I mean, I'm blessed to say I'm booked all the time because of shows like this. People believe, and so they're starting to trust. And whether it's a client that's living, whether I'm talking to the deceased, whether I'm helping people grow, we're all coming together. And that was the whole premise of being on this earth, because we got really separated for a long time, and we're starting to all come together in this commonality. So none of this affects me in like a jealousy way or anything. Like, I want everyone to be psychic so we can finally all be on the same page, and it's going to be beautiful. I know in this business, a lot of psychics are very backstabbing. It's very competitive. And I've been a model my whole life before I was doing this. And I thought modeling was competitive, but oh my God, like psychic, the whole psychic industry is taking modeling to a whole new level. It just is so much more competitive. And I thought, like, I have a few good psychic friends, and I'll ask them things, and they don't want to help me at all with something, or ask a question. I'm like, God, I thought we were all in the same book here, But they keep secrets to themselves, and I'm like, how can we ever all grow if you're just sitting there hogging something that might help me do this a little better, and then I can help other people? So
Janet Reynolds, she's done a lot. We've gotten to be very good friends, and we do some psychic readings and things like that. And so she's wonderful. So I don't know if you've heard of her, Janet Reynolds.
No, I haven't heard of a lot of, other than the obvious, like James on Prague. And I haven't heard, because I know that there's so many, and I don't have the time to know who's who. Right. It's not easy to know who's a celebrity than it is for me to know psychics that stick out, unfortunately. Because I would love to talk to some of them. I just sometimes it's just fun to sit around and share stories, and because we can learn from each other. Nobody's stealing anyone else's secrets, because we're all different at what we do. But just to, hey, what do you do when you do this? Oh, great. Maybe it's a cleansing thing, or, just something to help each other, because we should all do the best we can. Unfortunately, it's not one of those industries where people actually give you little hints and how to sleep better or anything. People are just so fearful. And so it's been a learning process all on my own, and I read as much as I can. But even my friend was telling me, well, the books, that's for that person. That's not going to stop reading the books. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. I need to get the best at what I do, not worry about what James Von Prague or Chip Coffee or whatever is doing, because that's them, and that's their gift, and mine isn't that gift.
And I agree with that wholeheartedly because, like, again, Stephanie Carter on the show, she is actually a psychic and she does Reiki. Also, Madam Coach Pereira, she does the same, but differently. And also Janet Reynolds, my friend Janet Reynolds. So, and then I have another good friend, Karen Rosenberg. She also does it. But they're all different. It's very fascinating to see the difference in it. And so I think someone going out there that they're looking at psychics, it's kind of fun to try different individuals, different ways, and just see what you come. I think our fear factor is lessening as we move forward through this. And so I think that's really great to be able to do that and be able to have you on the show. Let's take a quick break. Okay. And when we come back, let's talk a little bit more about what we need to do to prepare ourselves to be able to a reading or seek to the beyond. We'll be right back, Cece, with Going Solo, and you're listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network.
You're listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network, Singles Talk Radio channel, where we take a lighthearted and candid approach to discussions on the journey of relationship loss, divorce, parenting, being single, relationships building, dating, and yes, sex. Join our listeners and begin living your best life.
Well, welcome back. This is Cece with Going Solo. You're listening to WGSN-DB Solo Network, and it's so great to have you, and I thank you for hanging in there with us. If you are new to the show today, we are talking to Valentina Lomborg, and she is local right here in our Tampa Bay area. She is an awakened spiritual life coach, and she does something, even though she's a psychic, what she tries to do is tap into helping others really tap into their gift and expose a little bit more on their level. And so it's really kind of helping them through the next phase of life, which is kind of a cool thing. So welcome back to the show, Valentina.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Yeah, it's great having you. So let's talk a little bit about, okay, if I wanted to go, because there are so many different psychics, different ways they do things, and they have different gifts. But for you, if we were going to go to you and we wanted to talk to a loved one that has passed, how do we go about preparing ourselves to be able to do that? Now, can you do it over the phone? Can you do it over the internet? Do we have to be in person? How does that work?
First off, I prefer to have people, I work out of my home. I prefer to have people come in person. That is really the best way to experience that. I have clients all over the world. I do have some in LA that wanted to contact a loved one on the other side, and we did do it via Skype. I prefer last case or worst case scenario is on the phone, but that's more for life readings if people do not have a way to have Skype or FaceTime. The more interaction in person, the better the energy. So when I do what I call the crossed over readings, I will have people come, and it's usually about a 3-hour session. I've gone as long as 5 hours if I needed to, because I don't stop it. If the energy is really flowing and the loved ones are continuing to talk and they're not exhausted and I'm not exhausted, I will go above and beyond and just keep going for my client because I know how important it is to them. For a client to prepare, I generally ask that they do not have any caffeine or alcohol before the reading, and then I just like them to come as relaxed as possible with an open heart and mind. And more they've been bringing items of the loved ones, because I could do something called psychometry, which is I can read an object or photos, so they will bring those, and that really helps. And that's about it. Usually during a life reading, if people come in the daytime for a life reading, I do not. Loved ones may come through, but it's a lot different than when I do the mediumship, where I go into very deep trance, and it's very, very intense and detailed and very real and intense and very healing. It's done generally on the weekends because it goes late at night, and I'm booked already into bottom of October, so there may be some scattered days open, but that should usually be booked several weeks in advance just to secure their spot because they go fast. If people come in the daytime for a day reading, loved ones may come through briefly, but I don't give a lot of attention to them, meaning, and that didn't sound right, but meaning the person is generally there for life coaching and finding a life path. So 1 hour is not a lot we're working to get things for their life. So loved ones will be coming through and guiding, but they will say a few things, but it's not as intense and dedicated just to them as I do in the crossover reading.
That's very fascinating.
Does that make sense?
It does. And so you do different things. So you do the psychic readings, you do the crossover and you talk to loved ones that have passed. But I was very fascinated about the life path, because so often, especially the people that I deal with, their life is so up in the air because they're coming through wars. They're having to restructure, redefine their lives, redefine their friendship, their relationships. So it really is up in the air of what's going to happen with them. Some of them have to go back to work. Like me, I started doing what I'm doing out of what had happened to me. And so your life path really takes a turn. Your relationships take a turn. So I really love that aspect of it, being able to help someone with their life path. So if someone came to you, like for instance, just as an example for me, if I came to you and I wanted to know more about my life path, would that consist of my work or friends or relationships?
So life path, most people's problems, and this sums up everyone's life, is relationship, career, work, whatever, and health. That's pretty much in that order. Most people are concerned about if they have a good job, then relationship is the next thing. And then health is the least thing. And I can also scan them to see, I'm able to sense problems in their health, foresee things coming up that will be a problem later, which helps them nip it in the bud now. So people come to me. I have one guy that every time he's going to fly somewhere, he comes with the choices. He just comes with choices. He's like, should I go there or there? And I remember I said, I see the letter C. And he goes, okay, it was between somewhere else in Cambodia. So since you saw C, I'm going to Cambodia. He will just come with all these choices and drop them on. And I remember the first time he had like 15 different things. And he's like, okay, should I go here or here? I said, okay, hang on. All right, I need to go here. I said, I hope next time I hear from you, you can at least make one decision on your own. And he laughed. But this is like the third time. He just texted me yesterday. He's got more questions as to where to go and what to do. And so some people come like that. Some people need to know, should I sell the house? Where should I live next? Should I take this job or that job? Like literally cannot make a decision. And so by me tuning into what would be the best choice for them, what is in their energy circle for the future, I'm able to help them figure out what to do next.
I think that's great.
No, I love doing, it's so wonderful because people leave so relieved because it really was turmoil. Some people just cannot make decisions. And so it's wonderful. And those are all different and fun. And one woman didn't know sometimes I get 18-year-olds and maybe they don't even know what to do with their life. And so I'm able to tune into their energy, their brain energy, and say, okay, I think this would be really great for you. And they may not even have thought of that, but because they're able to do that with the way their brain thinks and the way they feel, I combine those two things to pick a career path and some different choices for their life. So if they can either take that path or maybe in the middle of their life, some people don't know what to do the second half of their life. So I'm able to sit and tap into and give them ideas to help get the gears going, and whether they choose my idea or build on that, now they have a path of something that would be doable and what I like to call believable in their life. Because like me in a suit working for a corporate would never happen. That's not believable. So I take their energy and I look and I build them places to go in their life path as to what would be good. So just guiding people. I think sometimes people hop off the path for a second, their little road. They took a left instead of a straight. And so I will help push them back up on the straight road and get back to what is believable and will work for their life.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely fascinating and really terrific because, again, so often the individuals that I deal with, they're so fearful because of so much trauma that has happened to them, so much sadness and hurt and pain they've gone through. They're afraid of making a decision, even though that they deep in their own mind and I think heart, they kind of know what the answer is. They kind of need someone to help them get that out and bring it to surface. And it's amazing. And plus you can see a little bit beyond that. So that is just really cool. That is very cool. I know, just to share with you a quick story, Karen Lomborg, who I had seen right after my divorce, a bunch of girls got together and we were going to have a psychic reading. I was scared to death over it. I actually got emotional and everything.
Oh, no.
I was so afraid. I go in there and I go, because I had no idea where my future was, what's going to happen. So I go into the room and everything, and she says to me, "Oh, you've got such aura about you," and all this kind of stuff. And she said to me, "Well, you are going to be on television. You're going to be on radio. You're going to have your own radio show, and you're going to do this." And she starts saying all this stuff to me, and I'm thinking like, okay, she's crazy. I'm thinking,
yeah, right. You're like, no.
This is, I've got myself a real quack here. I'm leaving. I'm thinking, okay, thank you very much. And I'm leaving, and all the girls are saying, okay, what'd she say? So you're not going to believe what she said. And so I tell them all this stuff. You know what? Just a little bit after that, I ended up having my own radio show going on Bay News 9 here on television. I've had my own TV show on the community channel. Now I've started my own radio channel. I thought she was crazy, but hey, she really knew. She knew, and I just let myself be open and say, okay, if this is my path, I'll go it, because I have nothing else to lose. You might as well
exactly. And I think sometimes when people get to that point, that it takes people getting that dire to finally jump in and give in. People can't, when they're still hanging on to the reins, sit there and let go. And, it took me losing both of my parents to just kind of like, okay, what else am I supposed to do now? I have nothing left to do in my life. Modeling, I retired from. And now it's like, okay, I know that this is my path because you've given me this gift for so long. And I just kind of was poo-pooing it. And now I'm just going to, with my parents gone, now there's no reason not to be up there in the universe all the time conversing, because I want to be up there. So it took something like that also for me to just say, okay, I get it. You've been trying to tell me for 27 years and I haven't listened, and I'm sorry, and I'm going to do it now. And so once I finally let go also, it's been so magical. And people have just been coming, and just to be able to sleep at night with a smile on my face, knowing that I've helped people, and then start all over again the next day.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. That truly is what it's all about. And I feel the same way. I mean, I love where I'm going and what I'm doing. I just energizes me. I mean, I could do it all day long and not even realize that the day is over. And so I get what you're saying. It's like, you've got to go to sleep, And so it's, yeah.
Who needs sleep? Who needs sleep?
Really. You're having fun, right? Absolutely.
Right.
Well, let's tell the audience how we can get a hold of you, because I love what you're doing. I love the fact that you can, of course, do the crossovers, but you can also do the readings, and you can do the life path. I think that is so important for people that just question, again, like you were saying, what direction should I go? I mean, it's like you have a fork in the path. Which way should I go? But most importantly, in a most positive, inspiring way. And so how can we reach you?
Okay, so the best way, and it's easy to remember, if you can spell Valentine, but put an A at the end, ValentinaGhostGirl.com. That's my website. I just sort of kept the paranormal website and just added on the psychic stuff just to keep them. And through there, you can contact me and just find me very easily. I don't think my phone number's on there, but the email, I'll get the email. I'm very quick at answering. If you forget that, just probably type in Valentina Ghost and I should show up. Something's going to show up. I'm all over the net, and you'll be able to find me. I'm quite reachable, and I will respond as quickly as I can. And then, like I said, I'm usually booked a minimum of 2 weeks in advance. So, but I do go above and beyond, and I can squeeze people in. So just be patient with me. I do work around everyone's schedule, and then I'm here. I just make myself as available as I can. Well,
that is great. And I want to thank you so much for being on Going Solo Network. And it's just a pleasure to have you. And you're inspiring.
Thank you, Cece.
And I love that. I love what you do.
Thank you.
I want to thank everyone for tuning in. This is Cece with Going Solo. You're listening to WGSN-DB, Going Solo Network. We are the singles internet radio talk, and we love it. We love being here with you. So I hope you will join us again, and thank you for listening. Bye for now.